Hi, my name is Mizu and welcome to Mizu's K-Drama Corner. I'm reviewing week 2 of The Devil's Plan today. Only Yeon has been eliminated so far, and this is the episode where they're still making strategies on who to partner up with. I remember there was this one part where Joon Bin, Kwedo and Dong Joo are in one room and they're talking about who they trust and who they don't trust. And then Siwon tries to enter the room and Dong Joo immediately tells her to not come in.
그치.
잠깐만 얘기할게 시원아.
네네네.
소리.
And the reason I'm bringing this up is because whenever this happens in games, normally what the people do is that they start talking about some other topic or they include the person in the conversation somehow, be a little strategic, be a little diplomatic about it. But Dong Joo kind of straight away said, we're talking right now, just give us a moment. So that was quite a bit shocking for me, and Dong Joo kind of did that in multiple occasions thereafter, which is the reason. I know that I said Dong Joo is one of my favorite players, her, Dong Jae and Seokjin, but after these episodes I've been really disappointed in her, honestly. And I do understand that Siwon made a few enemies, especially because she was working with Dong Jae and they were the stronger contestants, but it's still, you're living together in a home and it's just kind of mean. It's like you're bullying her. So it seems only Seokjin now can recruit any members for their group. Dong Jae people don't trust, and Siwon as well, people don't trust her. The rooms are allocated based on your age. So from that, like Kyung Rim and Dong Joo are together, which means Dong Joo is maybe the second eldest amongst the female contestants. And when I googled her name, she's actually 40 years old, which is probably crazy. She doesn't look it. I know in the first review I mentioned that she's absolutely stunning, and whoa, I cannot believe she's 40 years old. She's stunning. And the other thing they showed us was that they do play a demo game before the actual game begins. So for example, for the virus game, they had a demo game which wasn't shown to us as viewers, but they had a demo game first and then they played the actual one. With these videos, I'm going in chronological order. So the games, and then interactions between the people, and then another game, and then interactions between the people, and my final thoughts here and there. I wanted to share that because I know it can be a little bit confusing sometimes. Seokjin and Yeon are now freed from the jail to play the main game, which is the secret number game. And I swear Seokjin is snacking on everything he can see in the kitchen, in the game room, everywhere. I totally understand, because that prison meal, no, that's not enough to fill you up. So it seems Dong Joo made an alliance with Kwedo and Seungkwan in this game. And then what was weird was Dong Jae ended up not working with Siwon and with Seokjin, even though he figured out that you only need 3 people for this game. How things would be different if he actually did team up with those he trusted, I swear to God. Dong Jae ends up partnering with Yumin and Ha Seok. So I believe they decided to work with different people now, just so that it's fair for everybody else, because nobody likes Power Rangers all to come together versus people who aren't as strong. Nobody likes that. So I understand, I get that, but it's just so unfortunate, honestly. So Siwon teams up with Seungkwan and Yeon, which is great. And even in this game, you see how Yeon is such an angel, honestly. She never kind of backstabs anyone, she never betrays anyone. She also doesn't come forward and voice her opinion or is very aggressive with her thoughts, just like Kwedo. So in this game and previously as well in the Die game, Kwedo and Joon Bin kind of work together with their smarts and with their wit and with their strategies. And what I really don't like is that the way they kind of strategize is, let's eliminate this person, or let's all together decide to kind of target this person. So instead of focusing on winning the game, they focus on eliminating someone, which is, again, it comes in the bracket of being a bully. Oh, so the ending of this episode, when Yumin is seen with Kwedo and Dong Jae kind of sees them and he tells her, what were you doing? Why are you with him?
왜 들어갔는데?
내고 오자 얼른.
그러니까
너 적었어?
I mean, it was so shameless of Yumin. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't want to say negative things about anyone, but Yumin she was shown in a very negative light, and not just on this instance, like maybe we could let this go, but then on multiple occasions later on as well. Because normally when you betray somebody in one game, nobody's gonna trust you in the next game. So yeah, you got saved now, but what do you think you're gonna do in the long term? And then for Dong Jae, I mean, he's a very smart player. He's one of the best, the smartest, the coolest ever. With that, he's also very loyal. And this is what I really like about Dong Jae, because if he says he's gonna make an alliance with you, if he says he's gonna support you, he's gonna do that. I was so disappointed. First Yeon and now Dong Jae, you guys. I wish this didn't happen. I mean, oh my god. And then of course Yeon is crying. She ends up bad-mouthing Kwedo as well. She says, you have no right to be crying after you strategize this, which is so real.
아니 아무도 안 떨어지는 게 목표라며요. 도대체 왜 울어? 진짜 이상한 사람들이네.
And then we see Dong Jae, he really breaks down and he starts crying, and it broke my heart. My god.
데빌스 플랜은 저한테는 유토피아 같은 공간이었어요. 제가 살면서 2번 경험할 수 있을까 싶었던 경험이었어요. 그래서 더 소중했고요.
I remember he says, I hope the viewers don't hate me too much, and I was like, sir. You know, I literally jumped from my seat. I was like, sir, we love you. Come on, do not ever think that way. Don't ever say that. We are so sad that you are leaving, and I think I'm gonna get emotional now. So anyway, let's move on. So moving on, Seokjin really vocalizes his thoughts. He says that eliminations shouldn't be based on luck. It shouldn't be based on alliances. It shouldn't be based on politics. It shouldn't be based on playing dirty or targeting someone. That's when I got really annoyed at Dong Joo as well, because she sees Kwedo speaking to Seokjin and Yeon and kind of apologizing, but then she interrupts them and she says, you don't need to apologize.
궤도 형님, 이제 해명 그만하세요.
이제 해명 그만해. 그러니까 사실 그 어쩔 수 없는 상황도 있고 여러 가지 상황이 있고.
And then she ends up picking a fight with Yeon as well at the dining table. I mean, I wasn't a huge fan of Yeon previously in the last few episodes, but then when I see kind of Dong Joo being so mean and bullying her in this way, my focus goes from I'm biased towards Dong Joo to sis, I'm kind of not sure about you anymore, and Yeon has my love and my heart and all my support.
열일수고 언니한테 처음 같이 하자고 한 게 나였는데.
근데 그래놓고 게임 시작하니까 또 팽하니까 그랬을 때도
팽이 아니야.
아니 얘네는 굳이 그럼 왜 와서 대화를 하는지, 그럼 시간 낭비하나 굳이 아침에 와갖고 왜 대화를 하는 거, 어차피 안 할 거면.
Because I mean, I think everybody knew Dong Jae and Yeon had a very close bond, and after being eliminated in such a dirty way, of course her emotions are all over the place and she's feeling really upset. So instead of kind of being there for her, instead she picks a fight. They played the word tower game next, and everybody says it's so cruel for them to put you in a team bonding kind of a game just after the main match where you kind of were put up against each other. But I have to disagree, because everything that happened on that day, you have no choice but to put that aside and collaborate and work together, and that helps you kind of mend things and kind of let go of things. It's quite the strategy really, and I have to give it to the people who kind of thought of this, because now there's less negativity, people are a little bit more calmed down, they're more relaxed, and they can go to bed easily, compared to if the main match was the last match that day. A very cute moment here I would want to mention is Kyung Rim kind of takes out the ice cream from the refrigerator, and she's just such a mom, honestly. She tells everybody, come on, let's have ice cream. And then they actually do. They all sit together and they're having ice cream together. It's very sweet to watch that.
우리 아이스크림 먹읍시다.
좋습니다. 당 떨어지니까.
고생했어요.
And then they show us the cliffhanger. What I really like about this show is that even though the episode ends sometimes at a cliffhanger, they never leave us hanging. It's never like a false kind of a just kidding kind of thing. It always adds value to the story, and it's crazy how the story unfolds. So Joon Bin is sent to jail with Yumin, and he's for the first time wearing pants to bed because he's sharing the room now with a lady. And really, Joon Bin and Seungkwan, really they add a little bit of comic relief to the show, which is so important. Next, they play a zoo auction game, and didn't Joon Bin predict this when he was in the prison? 100 points for Kwedo for this, honestly, because he packs a change of clothes for JoonBin. And I kept thinking why nobody else was doing this for their cellmates, because, oh my god, I would definitely really appreciate somebody getting me a change of clothes. So again, Kwedo is leading the strategy for this game and everybody else is following him in that alliance. But there comes a little bit of a problem where they think they can either save Seungkwan or Yeon, and then Dong Joo kind of really gets upset. Why didn't Kwedo kind of put Seungkwan part of the strategy to save him? And then we see Seokjin being very savage and saying things like they achieved the equal world they wanted.
복지 모델의 실패를 보는 것 같다.
이게 데블스 플랜이야? 이게 그냥 빌부터 플랜이지? 그렇게 해서 살아남으면 뭐해? 그냥 계속 그냥 저 꽂아놓은 보리자루 마네킹 마냥 이렇게 있는 건데 그 인원 계속 살려놓고 있으면 뭐 할 거야?
So these were things that he only passed on as remarks or said under his breath or said when he was interviewed. But then he ends up bringing that up even during dinner time. He says, I would have liked it a lot better if we were to play individually. And I really liked that when Seungkwan was in jail and he was speaking to Siwon, he kind of noticed that he's working together with Kwedo, but he's only following and he's not doing things on his own. And to win in that way, is it really your win, you know? The next game was the game of weighing scales, different minerals. Kyung Rim and Dong Joo played so bad in that. I'll insert like a screen cap of Dong Joo here. Honestly, it was so funny to witness that. And then of course Kwedo was making his calculations and he was the real MVP of this game for sure. And then they show Seungkwan and Siwon in the prison and she keeps trying to untangle the puzzle to get a piece. And then she says to Seungkwan, Dong Jae, go to sleep. Oh my god. The heartbreak I feel, because I love these two people together because they were such a cute kind of Dong-Sae-Nuna relationship. I really love to see it, so that was difficult. That was difficult.
동재야, 좀 누워.
동재.
동재.
But the whole time I kept thinking Siwon's gonna get that puzzle. Even if she has to spend 8 hours doing it, she's gonna get it. And then she ends up getting it and she gets a piece. One thing I want to share about these games, even later on, is that they're no longer fun. Because they've made like a gang that follows Kwedo, and then we no longer have Dong Jae, who's the smarts. So we had the game of grass tiles, and again, the reason why I bring this up is because I have nothing to say about these games. They're no fun to watch anymore, right? So in this game, we see Yumin ask Kyung Rim for another piece, and she says, people think I'm really weak at these games and I'm gonna use that to my advantage. And this is what makes me really annoyed at her, because fine, the first time it was okay, you were in a lot of pressure, you didn't know if you could trust Dong Jae or not, so fine, once is okay. But now that she's doing it again, I got really annoyed and it was just not very nice to see. Seokjin ends up sending Yeon home and nobody understands what he's doing, but obviously we heard the announcement that this is the last time anybody would go to jail because he has solved the puzzle and he wants to know what's gonna happen. So of course they're gonna leave the reveal for next week, but I also want to really mention that Kwedo is so smart. He's wow, how he won that grass tiles game. He didn't win, but he was able to make a 5x5 square even towards the end, even when the odds were not in his favor, you know, just through calculations. So I thought that was very incredible. So what do you think is the big devil's secret, and who do you think is gonna win? Let me know down below. See you guys later. Bye bye.